who really didn't want the best for me and may have even been actively, psychically, or energetically attacking me. Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Amy Melaine, and on this channel we talk about witchcraft, spirituality, paganism, witchcraft, basically that. So if you think that sounds interesting, stick around. So today we're doing another elemental magic video, specifically around shadow magic. I really want to talk about a way to use your energy and shadow magic to keep yourself safe when you're around maybe somebody who's ultra negative, an energy vampire, or in general, just like not great energy. Now, quick story time. I used to use this method a lot. I did a lot of community theater, and I also worked in a cafe on a college campus. So I was around a lot of people all the time. There were crowds, there were customers, there were whole commons worth of people, and there were some people around in these spaces who weren't my biggest fans. Some of those people were even in both spaces. That's a story for another time. But today, I want to talk about how I helped to protect myself during those situations. When I was dealing with other witches who really didn't want the best for me and may have even been actively, psychically, or energetically attacking me. It sounds kind of wild, I know, but here we are. So a good example of when I used this technique was during a show at the community theater where I did a lot of theater. I did a lot of shows. In this particular one, I was an actor, and the person who wished ill of me was an usher for that show, which means that they were there for every single show, every night, until the play closed. So I had to deal with this person in close proximity on the same property and also within a few feet of me for multiple days every week. It was exhausting. It was draining. This person was a witch. They were also an energy vampire. And like I said, they really didn't like me. They weren't there for fun. They weren't there because they were a friend. They were there because they were friends with somebody else who they really didn't want me to interact with. It was a whole thing. The point is that I was constantly dealing with this person's drain, right? As you might already know, energy vampires cannot create their own energy, or they can't create enough of it, and that is why they have to take energy or siphon energy from other people. There are ethical ways to do this. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about somebody specific who really wanted to use me up until it was over with and get close to somebody else who was a really good source of continuous energy. So in order to protect myself in an environment that had been invaded by a negative force, essentially, I had to protect myself energetically, because what else was I gonna do? I couldn't work a ritual backstage. I couldn't carry any like specific talismans or anything with me that was protective, because I had to wear a costume, obviously, and there were often like quick changes and things like that. Sometimes there was nothing that you could do around like making sure you had certain objects on you unless they were part of your costume. I developed this technique to keep myself safe in unsafe situations and also in crowds. If you use shadow magic, or even if you just use energy magic and you're socially anxious, or you spend a lot of time in crowds around a lot of people, this can also be a really helpful way to keep yourself protected from just the onslaught of energetic forces around you. So the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you have an energetic field in place around your body. Now, we always have one, but you want to strengthen it in order to be able to use it effectively. This, in the beginning, took me a lot of practice, just keeping it going all the time. I used to have to focus on it, and when I lost focus, I'd have to bring it back up, and then when I lost focus, I'd have to bring it up, and over time and with practice, I got to a point where I could essentially just bring it up and then forget about it, like set it and forget it kind of thing. Nowadays, for the most part, I have a continuous, like, sort of energetic field around myself that I don't really have to think about. It is something that I just sort of keep active, in particular if I'm going to be around other people. It just sort of happens. Now, I can do extra things to like supercharge it, right? But we went from baby witch Amy needing extra help just trying to stay focused to now witch Amy who can just kind of let it run in the background. You can do that too. It might take some practice. It might take more practice for others. If it feels really difficult or like it's taking too long to learn, be nice to yourself because it really is practice. It'll happen. Like, you keep it up and it will happen. So that's the first thing, is you want to focus on bringing up an energy shield around you. Now, the way that I do this is essentially by closing my eyes, visualizing a like spring or wealth or flow of energy coming from my heart and radiating out to my head, through my limbs, through my other limbs, all around my whole body, and then visualize it coming out from my body to create an energy shield, a sort of bubble, a force field if you're a Star Trek fan. Like, it's going to become a sort of like energetic second skin in a way. When you start, also, it is pretty normal for it to pretty much be right on top of your skin or only an inch or two away from your skin. You will get to a point eventually, if you practice, where you can push it out further so that this energy field that other people can run into can actually like run into you in a way, energetically, right? Like, I've never had somebody like run into my field and like hit their face, but you know what I mean. You can get to a point where you can push it out a foot, 2 feet, whatever, like distance from your body, which can help keep the negative energy and whatever it is even further away so that it isn't interfering with your body, your mind, your thoughts, and all of that. So that's the first thing that we want to do, right? We want to create this shield. If you do not feel like you have the energy to spare in your body, you can pull it from around you. What I did was I would pull it from the shadows because I was a shadow, like, focused witch. I would pull it from the shadows around me. There were a lot of them, especially backstage at the theater, because it was always dark back there. We had like 2 little lights that were hanging up in corners, and other than that, it was dark. So I could pull shadows from all around me and use that to charge myself up, essentially. It's similar to grounding yourself and pulling energy from the earth, except instead of pulling it from the earth specifically, you're pulling it from shadows specifically. So you just visualize that energy, pull with your own self, pull it from the shadows and into yourself and use it to power your field. Another way that I did this, especially if I was having a hard time focusing, I have ADHD, and also there was a lot going on backstage. There were also audience members coming in continuously, right? That just, all of the like noise from the crowd on the other side of the curtain, sometimes it was very difficult to focus, and I was trying to get into character at the same time, right? I was trying to be ready for a play and also have an energy shield up and going at the same time. So sometimes what I would do is I would go deep into the backstage, and I would sit down and I would meditate. I'd put on some just instrumental only music, and I would sit crisscross applesauce and focus on bringing the energy in to myself that I needed, and then pushing it out of myself to create a shield around myself, so that when I was done with this 9-minute 9, 11-minute meditation. I went through like a certain number of songs usually. I get to like this, through this like 11-minute meditation, my camera died. So here we are. I think we talked about pulling energy from shadows. We talked about pulling energy from meditation. The second thing that you want to do is go ahead and imbue your energy shield with your shadow magic. So if you've pulled energy from shadows around you, you've kind of already done this. If you haven't, then you can pull the shadows from around you, or just like from within you, from within your deep dark soul. You just want to visualize your energy shield becoming a impenetrable shroud of shadow energy. It might for a moment kind of impede your vision. It might for a moment be like looking through something kind of dark, but you can clear that up on your own. You can just focus through it. But make sure that there are no holes in your shield around you. This also works for other elements. Just instead of going the shadow direction, you go the direction of your element. It's especially easy to do when someone who is a light element is out in the sun. that's that's a surefire way to get your little energy shield all charged up, which likewise somebody with a shadow element walking around in the dark or in the shadows will help to keep it charged up. So anyway, you just want to visualize getting that shadow energy all up in that energy shield, get it all up in there. Now, if you want to get a little bit pricklier, the third thing that you can do is almost turn your shield into a type of repellent. I used to sort of imagine that the shadow shield around me was poisonous. Created a bit of a sickening feeling if someone tried to intrude upon it. It did not impact the people around me who were allowed to be around me, who were like okay people, but if someone tried to like poke at me energetically or psychically, like cough, an energy vampire cough, when they tried to steal my energy or like poke it, they would take away sort of a sick feeling and they would essentially stop their attack. You can also visualize pokey things like nails or thumbtacks hanging out in your energy shield, again, so that if somebody tries to intrude upon it or break it, it'll hurt, probably give them a little bit of a headache, and they'll break off the attack. So that's a third thing that you can do, is make it a little bit more prickly, a little sickening. I had to do that a few times. I found it really, really, really useful. And it's a nice way to protect yourself and like show other people that you mean business without like actively going on the attack, going on the offensive. It's still defensive magic and it doesn't cause any permanent harm. I find it really, really useful. And I will still use this tactic if I feel like I am in some sort of energetic or psychic danger. So that's basically the basics of creating a shadow infused energy shield around your body. Again, like it might take you some practice, so be nice to yourself and just keep it up. And if you have any questions, there's anything that you're curious about related to this or anything else, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will get back to you when I can. And if you don't mind, just leave a comment for the algorithm. If you don't know what to comment, just put your favorite heart emoji down there, subscribe, hit the bell icon and click all so that you actually get all the notifications for when I upload. Like the video if you liked it, and thank you so much for being here. You will see my patrons scrolling across the screen in just a moment. I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day. Bye!